The fourth one is, see, don't worry, that is basically too early for us in the basics class. So I've written it. This is the RTP, reserve tranche position. So I'll just explain in simple words. Our representation in IMF, want to become a member of IMF. Okay, so we represent, there is something called as quota. Quota concept is there in IMF, International Monetary Fund. So that's not our discussion now. That means there is some amount of fund which we have to put in IMF. Okay, and that generally we represent in the form of SDRs. Okay, so this RT is something like reserve tranche position is, suppose India's representation in IMF quota, which we can use whenever we want, So that is how it's a simple way of understanding. So to next time I will discuss like how it happens, like what they do. But reserve tranche position is India's representation in IMF. Okay, you have to push some money into IMF, you push some dollars into IMF, which you can use whenever you want. Okay, so that is also a forex, that is also part of our forex reserve. Okay, so 4 major components of forex. Now one more most important aspect which we have to discuss now is this area of depreciation and devaluation of currency. Let's try to understand this. Okay, so the two new words here, once forex is clear. Okay, so one is depreciation, another one is devaluation. Okay. Okay. Now, what does this picture, what do you notice from this picture? You can put it in the chat. What do you notice from this picture? I'm audible. What do you notice from this picture? What is that? Demand for dollar to study abroad. Okay. Downfall of rupee. Here, rupee, see this? Rupee value is going down. What is that? I will explain now. Rupee value, you can see this, it's going down. Means foreign education is going to become costly. Foreign trips is going to become costly. This is what is your observation here. You can see buying foreign assets, foreign trips, foreign education is going to become costly if rupee is going to go down. Now, this is something which you have to understand. It's not high cost of living. It is middle class people can touch these. Middle class people cannot touch. Okay, fine. Middle class. So it's not only middle class, for everybody, it is going to become costly. Okay, but the effect would be high on the middle class. Yes. So here, now when I'm talking about depreciation and devaluation, let's try to understand what I'm saying. Okay. So once that picture is clear, you've understood the picture. So suppose I'm writing, let's say $1 is equal to, it's a hypothetical example, 50 rupees. This is case 1. Okay. Second case is $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Okay. Now question to you all is, where Indian rupee is stronger, in case 1 or case 2? Where Indian rupee is strong? Okay, so obviously we can understand here that Indian rupee is strong, rupee value is stronger, obviously in case 1. Okay, rupee value is stronger in case 1. Simple. Okay, so that means for 50 rupees, I am able to buy dollar in case 1, but to buy the same dollar, I have to pay 100 rupees in case 2. This is what is understanding. That means moving from case 1 to case 2, what is happening is rupee value is going to decrease. Everybody, I hope you're able to follow. Moving from case 1 to case 2, rupee value is reducing and dollar value is increasing. I'm making it very clear here. Moving from case 1 to case 2, rupee value is reducing and dollar value is increasing. Is that clear, everybody? So that can be noticed. This is clear for everyone. Okay, any doubt here? No, everybody, yes, everybody has understood. Now that means moving from first case to second case, rupee has become weaker and dollar has become stronger. Rupee weak, dollar strong. That is clear. Now, if rupee becomes weaker, do you think there will be any benefits? If rupee becomes weaker, do you think there will be any benefits? Now, this is one more question. Put it in the chat. If rupee becomes weaker, will there be any benefits for us? Yes. Forex reserve, more export, IT industry has got benefits. Yes. Now see, if rupee value depreciates, now I'm using the word here, I'm using the word depreciation. It is nothing but fall in value of rupee. Fall in value of rupee. It is nothing but depreciation of rupee. If rupee value is going to depreciate, if there is fall in this value of rupee, IT industry will flourish, obviously, because they are going to make payments in dollars. They are going to make payments in dollars. So their salaries will become cheaper. Easily they can pay salaries, isn't it? $1 is 100 means it is good for IT industry because they can pay salaries easily in countries like India. Okay, so IT industry is going to benefit. Okay, then which industry is going to suffer? IT industry is benefiting. Very good. Then are there any industries which are going to suffer because of this rupee value fall? Yes. Oil industries. Oil industries are definitely going to suffer because we are going to import oil. Now we'll try to understand this. Because we are going to import oil. We are going to import oil. So you're importing oil, so oil industries will suffer. So why it will happen? Let's try to understand this. Okay, so if we see, if rupee value is depreciating or if rupee value is decreasing or rupee value is falling, okay, what will happen to exports and what will happen to imports? Let's try to understand it. Devalued is, give me some time. I'll explain the difference between depreciation and devaluation. Okay, so if rupee value is reducing or if rupee value depreciates, okay, so rupee value is falling. Let's take an example. Let's say this pen is manufactured in India. This pen is manufactured in India and the cost of the pen is 100 rupees. Okay, now I want to sell this pen to US. I want to export. I want to export this pen to US. This is what I want to do. Now this pen is 100 rupees. Now case one, $1 is 50 rupees. This is the case one. And I want to sell this pen to US. How much are they going to pay me? Okay, I'm selling this pen to US. Okay, so when $1 is 50, so they will be paying me how much? They are going to pay me $2. They're going to pay me $2. Simple. Okay, so $2, they are going to pay me $2 in this case. Now the same thing, if you try to understand, if the same example, if the pen cost is 100 rupees, I want to sell this pen to US. Okay, but now $1 is second case, $1 is 100 rupees. Now how much are they going to pay me if $1 is 100? Now $1 is 100, they are going to pay me only $1. Everybody is able to get this. They're going to pay me $1. Is this clear for everybody? Okay, is this clear for everybody? So what I did was $1. Okay, so $1 is equal to 50. They're going to pay me $2. If $1 is 100, they're going to pay me only $1. That means what has happened here, if my rupee value has depreciated from $1 to is equal to 50 to $1 is 100, what has happened here is my exports, my export has become what? Exports have become cheaper. What has happened? My exports have become cheaper. When my rupee value has depreciated, my exports have become cheaper. They paid me $2. Now they're paying me only $1. Now this export becoming cheaper because of rupee value depreciation is beneficial or is it negative for us? I expected this answer only. It's not negative. See here, now listen very carefully. We are competing in the international market. It is not that you are only selling this pen. China can sell this pen. South Korea can sell this pen. Okay, and several other countries can sell this pen. Okay, so therefore, if your exports are going to become cheaper in the market, you are going to be more competitive in the economy, in the international market. You're going to be more competitive. You can sell more pens. Now, this is the logic you should understand. Don't think earlier I was getting $2. Now I'm getting only $1. But the observation is when the rupee value depreciated, exports became cheaper. When exports become cheaper, you're becoming more competitive in the international market. You can sell more pens in the international market. So when you can sell more pens in the international market, our exports will increase in the international market, India's exports. Now, this is one of the main reasons why Chinese products are cheap. One of the reasons why China keeps its currency, used to keep its currency value, its yuan value so low to make its exports cheap and to flood global markets with Chinese products. It is killing other countries' products with its cheap exports. This is one of the reasons, this is not the only reason why Chinese exports have flooded across the globe. See, China was trying to reduce its currency value wantedly, make its exports cheaper, and flood global economies with its exports. US was also not happy with respect to China reducing its currency value and trying to flood with its products. And US companies or US products are getting. Today, if you observe Chinese toys, okay, flood across India, Chinese phones, electrical items, everything is made in China. One is they're good in manufacturing, but that alone is not the reason. Many other factors are there. And one of the important factors is they were trying to reduce the value of their currency to make their products cheap and flood in the global markets and occupy the global economy. China is very today there is no other country in the world which can stand in front of China, because Chinese always have a long-term vision. Chinese always have a long-term vision and they work for that vision. When they're working for that vision, they only work for that vision. They won't think about small aspects in between. And that is how China can even, China is in fact is almost, I can say it is almost crossed US. Okay, so this is something which you should understand. So now, of course, this is a negative aspect of it in the sense they are trying to, what is China trying to do there? China was trying to devalue. Now here, devaluation, both depreciation and devaluation both mean reduction in value of currency. Currency value is coming down. So currency value is coming down with respect to what? With respect to another currency, another strong currency. In this case, that another strong currency is nothing but dollar. In this case, that another strong currency, nothing but dollar. Okay, now undo. 1 second. Okay, fine. I hope that example is clear. And then I have shown you this. Okay, so now let's try to understand the difference between depreciation and devaluation. So here what we have understood is fall in value of currency. That is clear. I took the two examples. $1 is 50 and $1 is 100. So moving from $1 is 50 to $1 is 100 means rupee value is reducing, or there is depreciation of rupee value, or you can use the word devaluation. Let's try to understand the difference in another 1 minute. Okay, so now you can see this diagram here, dollar becoming stronger and dollar being pushed down, dollar pushing the rupee down. Okay, and this rupee value fall is making things costlier for foreign education, going to MS. Okay, you want to go on a foreign tour, world tour, your foreign tour is going to become costly. All that is basically because the rupee value is falling. But there can be certain industries like software which can benefit. Software exports, India is good with respect to software service exports, and so our software exports can become cheaper. We have tried to understand that. Okay, so the software service exports are going to become cheaper, and therefore we are going to benefit because of software service exports. Now, along with that, there are, of course, there is this problem of rupee fall. I'm using the word problem because in India's case, we have negatives more than benefits. For example, all those industries which are using oil as raw material, India imports more than 80% of its oil from other countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran. So we depend on oil imports. It means when rupee value depreciates, what we are seeing is exports are becoming cheaper. Rupee value is depreciating means our exports are becoming cheap. But at the same time, what will happen to imports? Imports are going to become costly. So when $1 is 100, when I'm buying oil, I have to convert 100 rupees into dollars and make payments. And therefore, my rupee value depreciation makes imports costly. So our raw material cost is going to increase, and oil, petrol and diesel is going to become costly. Oil is going to become costly means you will have to face the problems of inflation. Inflation, remember inflation? Inflation is increase in prices. Now, oil is becoming costly means transportation becomes costly. So if transportation becomes costly means food also becomes costly. So food inflation also. Why? Because transportation cost. So it leads to inflationary effect. Remember, petrol and diesel is not an economic good. It is also not only an economic good, but it is also a political good. Okay, government's election results also depend on oil and food prices. And therefore, to handle this inflation with respect to oil and food, what will government try to do? Government will try to spend more money from its pocket. Government will try to make this oil cheap, food cheaper. So government will try to increase money or increase subsidy. So government will spend money from its pocket. So government is going to increase subsidy. So government is going to spend money from its pocket. Okay. So if government is spending money from its pocket, it means for the government's expenditure is going to increase. That is what is happening during Corona. So government's expenditure has increased. So government cannot spend on infrastructure now. Actually, government has to spend more on infrastructure. See, when you talk about subsidy also, there are different types of subsidies, as I mentioned yesterday. Subsidies which will teach you how to fish, and subsidies will give you fish. Now, most of the government subsidies are giving you fish. They give you 1 rupee rice and 2 rupees wheat, and these kind of subsidies for a short-term political gain. Okay, but government's expenditure is going to increase. Now, government cannot spend more money on road, rail connectivities. You cannot spend money on infrastructure because you are spending more on handling these prices. So automatically, it will affect the growth, overall growth of the country. Now, this is a big challenge for the government also. So that means oil industries will become costly. And along with that, India's manufacturing sector also got affected because of rupee value depreciation. India's manufacturing sector. Why India's manufacturing sector got affected is, it's not that our manufacturing exports increased, but rather most of our Indian industries, we use imported raw material for production. Our manufacturing industries use imported raw material. We buy raw material from other countries. So imported raw material we are using for production. So when you're using imported raw material, okay, so this raw material cost is increasing. This raw material cost is going up, imported raw material. So when raw material cost is going to increase for the manufacturing industries, our cost of production, we are producing products, no, raw material cost will increase because rupee value depreciated, imports have become costly, means our raw material imports for the manufacturing industry are becoming costly. It means our cost of production is going to increase. So cost of production is going to increase means the product cost is also going to increase. So the products are going to become costly, inflation. So manufacturing sector also got affected because of rupee value fall. I think you got a fair idea. So what happens with rupee value fall? Okay. Okay. So now there is a slight difference between depreciation and devaluation. Okay, if you see this diagram, you can see rupee value appreciation, rupee value depreciation, and dollar is pressing rupee down here. Now, what is this slight difference between depreciation and devaluation? So this is what we'll try to understand now. Okay, so if the currency value is falling because of market fundamentals, if currency value is falling because of market forces of market, means forces of demand and supply. If currency value is reducing because of forces of market, then we call it as depreciation. I'll explain now with an example, you will understand depreciation. But if government wantedly decides that, let's say government wantedly decided, forget about market, from tomorrow $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Government has decided, wantedly reduce the value of currency, like China used to do, and India also has done it. First time we devalued in 1966, and again after 1991 we devalued our currency. So devaluation means government is wantedly reducing the value of currency. Devaluation means government is wantedly reducing the value of currency to make exports cheaper and to make imports costly. So that is basically devaluation. This is the difference between depreciation and devaluation. So, sir, what is this market fundamentals? Market fundamentals is very simple. For example, let's say you have dollars. Modi ji has taken a decision. Let's say he decided that we will allow more foreign investment into India. It's a government decision. Now, government said, okay, fine, we'll liberalize Indian economy so that more dollars, more companies like Amazon can come into India, more companies like Tesla can come into India, okay, and they can do business in India. What is going to happen? More foreign investment is moving into India. I'm not using the word FDI, foreign direct investment, FI, because we have not touched 1991 still. Okay, so foreign investment is moving into the country. So when foreign investment is moving into the country, it means more dollars are moving into the country. Simple logic. Dollar supply in India is going to increase. Simple. More dollars are moving into the country. Okay, so when more dollars are moving into the country, okay, simple logic is there is a market where you can buy currencies, which is called as the forex market. So in the share market, you have shares being traded. Share being traded means buying and selling of shares. Similarly, in the forex market, we have currencies being traded. You want to buy dollars, you can buy by giving rupees. You want to buy euros, you can buy. So when dollar supply in India increases, when dollar supply in India increases, automatically in the forex market, what will happen is demand for dollar is going to be less. Anything in abundance, demand is less. Simple logic, no? Why there is so much of demand for IAS? Because every house you don't have an IAS officer like an engineer in South India. Simple logic. Okay, so therefore, everything in life, everything in economics runs based on demand and supply. Everything runs based on demand and supply. Simple logic. Now there's more demand, more supply of dollars because more foreign investment moved in. So demand for dollars is less. If demand for dollar is less, I will pay less rupees or more rupees to buy the dollar. Since demand, network problem, repeat the last sentence. Mandir, na? Is it internet issue or mic? Okay. So if supply of dollars is increasing, okay, so demand for dollars is going to be less. Okay, so more dollars. If demand for dollar is less in the forex market, are we going to pay less rupees or more rupees to buy the dollar? So since demand is less, we have to, it is like we will be paying less rupees to buy the dollar. No demand, so I'll be paying less rupees to buy the dollar. If I'm paying less rupees to buy the dollar, it means early, it is the first case, like $1 is equal to 50, right? Instead of 100. I'm paying less rupees to buy the dollar. Okay, less rupees to buy the dollar. It is $1 is equal to 50 and not $1 is equal to 100. Okay, so less rupees to buy the dollar. Okay, so $1 is equal to 50. That means what is happening to rupee value here? Rupee value has appreciated. Rupee value has increased. $1 is 50 means there is appreciation of rupee value. Everybody, I hope you are able to follow. There is appreciation of rupee value. Rupee value is appreciated. And was it because of government's decision? No, it is because of market fundamentals. Because of why I'm saying it is fundamentals, it is because of a more dollars, more foreign investment moving into the country. Okay, so I think till here everybody has understood. Now take one more case here. Suppose there is a situation where earlier our Kasab and friends have attacked Mumbai. So whenever you have terrorist attacks, terrorist has attacked Mumbai because it is the financial hub. So if you can hit the economy of the country, it is you can hit the country on a large scale. Suppose if coronavirus is basically man-made, or if China has wantedly designed it, okay, even dollars in high value, but why USA? US cases, see, US case is completely different. US case is complete. How can you compare US with India? You cannot compare. I'm not saying US is competitive, or we are not in a position to compare with China also as of now. Okay, so forget about US, the products which they sell, the technology which they have. Okay, you want to compare US with India, I'll give you one small example to understand. Can you name some mobile companies which are purely Indian? So I'll tell you, I'll give you what is like, don't worry, keep patriotism aside and let's be practical now. Can you give me some mobile phone companies which are Indian, purely Indian? Not Geo. Geo is a network now. Not taking Geo now. Okay. Micromax. Okay. Samsung is not Indian, ma. Samsung, South Korea. Lava, Celcon, Micromax. Okay. Kbon. How many of you are using these mobiles? How many of you are using this mobile? Okay, fine, fantastic, good. Now, one more question. Name pure Indian car brands. Name pure Indian car brands. Ambassador. Ambassador is not car brand, it's a car. Okay, it's like a car company. Okay, now see Tata. Okay. See Maruti Suzuki, right? It's Maruti Suzuki. Suzuki is from Japan. You need the technology of Japan. Tata is using Italian engines. Don't think Jaguars and all. Earlier Tata Indica, you know the noise it used to make. Okay, Hyundai is not ours. Hyundai is South Korea. Okay, so Hyundai is South Korea. Fiat engine, they're using Fiat engine. Tatas are using Fiat engine. Even today, we are so bad in R&D that you're thinking so much. Yeah, Force Motors, okay. You're thinking so much to identify car brands. Now, if you try to identify Mahindra Renault, you need collaboration from Renault. Remember this. Renault is not an Indian company. Why is it in Mahindra Renault then? That means you need technology from other countries. So we are very bad in research and development. We are very bad in technology. Suppose when we talk about cycles also, you have these cycles from Scotland, etc. There's 8 years of R&D that is done before launching a cycle. In India, cycle is not about 2 tires and a link. Oh, that's a bicycle. No. There's a lot of R&D done in terms of weight, in terms of swift, the way you drive, the back position, everything. In India, we are not into R&D. Now compare Apple with Micromax. Compare Apple with Micromax. Now, how do you compare US competitiveness with India? It's not investment, it's not dollar. We stand nowhere. Keep patriotism aside. I told you before. And what is this, sir? No. Mera Desh Mahan. Okay. Don't take any credit from history. Now, as of now, I only asked you like, okay, so can you give me, so how do you compare innovation of Apple with that Micromax? OnePlus Chinese mobile offers so much of value at such a low price. Where are we in manufacturing? India is nowhere in manufacturing. India is very bad in research and development. Whenever crisis comes, you have to beg other countries for vaccines. This is our position. This is our situation. What we have, see, now we are trying to slowly do something, and you have COVID now. Okay, and we are in a situation where we are trying to do something, but R&D, scientists spending on science and technology is very, very limited in our country. There was 9 years of research that has been done for Apple. Remember that Apple iPhone, which you're talking about, it is not entrepreneur skill. It is R&D skill. So if you talk about Steve Jobs is more an engineer rather than a businessman. Elon Musk is more an engineer, kind of a scientist rather than a businessman. When your product is so good, like Tesla, you don't need advertising. Do you find Apple ads coming up in our television? Buy this Apple, or you have some movie star clicking Apple. Ranveer Singh coming and clipping, like Oppo, Oppo phone. Not needed. Products are different. Product quality is good. So there's no comparison. We stand nowhere. So if product is so good, why is it so good? Because of innovation. How did you get that innovation? You have spent years on R&D. Every sector, you don't have research and development. You want to sell a cheap product. You're satisfied with any quality. You want to sell it. That's all. Now, that is how we operate. That is how we operate. Of course, I'm not denying the fact that we are economically, we have a lot of all that. Keep it aside and just try to understand that. So one aspect, so if you want to compete with US, if you want, forget about US, if you want to compete with China, we cannot compete with China in manufacturing. Though you depreciate our rupee value, devalue our currency, Indian manufacturing products cannot compete in the international market with Chinese products. Okay, number one. Number two, that is the reason when Modi ji was saying, make in India, Modi ji cannot understand even a single bit of economics. Okay, he cannot understand even a single bit of economics. And mostly what happens when you're in power, when you're in the power center, whoever is coming there will try to appease Modi ji. That's all. No, you are like this, you know everything, you can do everything. What you can do? Nothing you can do. Unless economics is a specialization, science and technology is a specialization. Okay, everything it's not about talking and giving speeches. That is different. That is also specialization. You are specialized in that. You're not specialized in everything. So probably if you see India's, you don't have a very good proper economics. That is why you launched demonetization. It's an utter failure. GST had n number of problems. Okay, so unless and until you understand economics properly and take up economic policies, then only you will be successful. Okay, fine. Now, okay, this is about the government. Okay, we do only assembling in India. Yeah, in assembling also we are not good. Okay, if you see Chinese, tomorrow the era of artificial intelligence comes in. Okay, robo, Rajnikant is far better in assembling. So all these assembling jobs will be replaced tomorrow. In the wake of artificial intelligence, job losses will be maximum in India, not in US. Because US jobs are R&D related. Brains can't be replaced, but manual work can be replaced. Robos can assemble things well. So if you observe, if you open an iPhone and you open the battery of the iPhone, you can see, what do you see? R&D in California, assembled in China. Assembling China and India, R&D in California. That is the situation. And tomorrow, all these assembling jobs, artificial intelligence, robotics, all these jobs are gone. Now this youth population, which you are talking about by 2030, 2040, which is the strongest demography which we want to use, will be jobless and starving. Unless and until you're able to create good jobs which they can take. This is the biggest challenge which India has to face in another 10 to 15 years. That is job creation, which cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence. Tomorrow diagnostics centers will be replaced. That is also done by artificial intelligence only. You cannot depend like, okay, better than the doctor, the system will detect the disease properly. Our doctors experiment. When you say something wrong, again, they will feel bad. That's a different thing. Okay, you are all gods, but at the same time, what I'm talking about is, now there is some procedure, if you see. So these procedures have to be followed. Okay, fine. So China decreases its currency value, but it imports more different parts. China is some extent self-sufficient. It manages. It's not so much dependent on imports alone. Okay, so that is the thing of China. Okay.